Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a hilarious video for you here today titled Leftover Modern Women Are Worried That Men Are Leaving the Game. So we are going to be kicking it off with a collection of women who have, I believe, hit 30 plus years of age. And of course, they are struggling to find their Prince Charming, you know, the man of their dreams who is just around the corner, according to their friends. So we're going to be jumping into this one. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Have you guys been noticing this as a recent trend lately with modern women? Let us know down below, and let's jump right into the video.
Mom! Put me back! I wake up every morning, I work, I have bills, I'm too big for the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. This sucks!
Am I too old to be here?
What?
Am I too old to be here?
No, of course not.
Does it look weird that I'm here?
No, not at all.
Am I hotter than these little bitches?
Yes, you look amazing.
No.
This is what I'm talking about, by the way, when I say that like a lot of women will just have friends that straight up lie to them. So this is like a 30-plus-year-old woman obviously joking about hitting the club, saying, am I too old to be here? Am I more attractive than these other women? And obviously the friend is sitting here going, don't worry, queen, you can be in the club over the age of 30. No, it's not weird. You're totally fine. I personally think it's creepy. I think it's very damn weird. And let's be honest, all of the women who are in this position, they have either met their Prince Charming and rejected him, or been with their Prince Charming and decided to divorce him and throw him away. And then they're out there returning to the streets trying to look for another man to replace him. And this is why, by the way, a lot of dudes will get hit with those texts, right? You get a divorce from your wife or your long-term girlfriend or something like this, and they end up hitting you with the "Hey stranger" text messages, because they realize that the grass wasn't greener on the other side, and none of these dudes who are going to the club actually want anything serious with them.
Not at all.
Am I hotter than these little bitches?
Yes, you look amazing.
How old are you?
I just turned 29.
Recently?
Last year.
So you're 29?
Last year.
And how old are you right now?
1 more year older.
So 30?
Yeah.
This video is hilarious, man. This one here, so we've got a woman sitting here looking sad. She says, 50 and single, sometimes I feel too old to fall in love again. Is that true? What's the bet? This woman has probably divorced one or even maybe more than that husbands, or she's a single mother or something like this. Granted, the kids would probably be out of the home by this particular age. But again, these women have met their Prince Charming, by the way, and they get to this age and they're still acting like super dejected, like dating has been super hard for them. Dating has absolutely not been hard for these women. They have it quite literally on easy mode, and yet we still end up with videos like this of women crying in their backyards claiming, oh, it's so hard to be 50 years of age and single. Like, they literally did it to themselves.
What you feel like when your son smiles at you.
Only in the movies do career women meet the man of their dreams and have a power couple rom-com romance. In the real world, these post-walls face reality of being alone because no man of quality is picking them. They gave up free sex to those men during their city girl lifestyle, and now they want to settle down. Those men have moved on to the new crop of newly college grads living out their sex in the city lifestyle.
And just by the way, a lot of these women, when they're looking to settle down, as it were, it's not like what they're really looking for at the end of the day is a dude who's going to financially take care of them. They've been out there, they've slept with a whole bunch of different men throughout their 20s, and now they're approaching 30, or they've hit 30 years of age, and they feel the stress to have a long-term relationship, maybe get kids or get married and things like this, because they're worried that their time is running out to do these things, and it's getting a little bit embarrassing at the family gatherings. But it doesn't actually have much to do with being interested in a man or caring about the dude or wanting to look after somebody else aside from yourself or wanting to be a good wife or a good mother. Unfortunately, a lot of it comes down to she just wants all of those things, but without actually being having any of the responsibility of those things.
So the title of today's article is Gen Z Paralyzed with Fear of Turning 30, Becoming Unattractive Hags. Life Might As Well End at 22. and it's written on the New York Post, which does a lot of articles that are kinda red pill. You come to a red pill conclusion. Of course, they won't dare to have a red pill or MGTOW writer explaining these situations, because that would wake up too many men, and a large part of their fake economy in the feminist West is predicated on blue-pilled men. Men not realizing their worth. And men getting divorce robbed and becoming 18 years a slave through child support. But anyway, let's get balls deep into it. Before we go on with the video, let me jump to the comment of the day. Shout out to Gara Rules All, who shared, "Women don't want to end up with losers. Guess what? Neither do men."
I think that's a great comment, by the way, because that's something that not a lot of people talk about, right? They just assume that dudes should just end up with whoever, and we should be grateful that some random woman is paying us attention. Never mind the fact that she might be a horrible human being, or she might have a lot of issues, or she might not have done any work on herself whatsoever. I mean, every time these women say that they've done work on themselves, it's always some esoteric nonsense that makes absolutely no sense, to be honest with you. It never actually constitutes going to the gym or educating themselves, and I mean educating themselves in the real sense, not going to these classrooms that indoctrinate them. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Dudes are expected to just have relationships with a lot of these women simply because they exist. They might be complete psychos. They might be absolutely terrible for relationships. They won't make good girlfriends. They won't make good wives. They won't make good mothers. And yet dudes are expected to just go, "Oh, okay, I'll deal with this and I'll support this just because apparently I'm supposed to, apparently."
Age before beauty? Absolutely not. 30, flirty, and thriving is apparently no longer the holy grail for teens and 20-somethings online. Those born between 1997 and 2013 are expressing grim concerns about hitting the big 3-0, a milestone that some of these youngsters fear will immediately zap them of their sexiness, stamina, and overall value. That's because they're right. They're the internet and social media generation, so they see these videos of post walls crying about not finding a good man or being alone.
There are consequences to saying the N-word.
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
I was just thinking,
Oh, not
I'm
this
probably
woman.
going to be alone for the rest of my life.
Yep, probably.
How many of you are alone and like are okay with it? Like are okay with it? Like
inside this stupid body, I
Holy
am
hell,
still
this should have
young.
been marked as like a horror video.
I still feel, I still want, I still dream.
Or regretting divorce because no one wants to commit to a post wall, so they know they're on borrowed time.
I need my algorithm to give me more people who are 30 and like just starting over, or give me more people who like started to make it at 30, because I'm feeling those things of like, bitch, there's no point even trying because you turned 30 recently. There's no point even trying. And I know that is unproductive. Like, I'm aware that that thought is also what's going to keep me where I'm at, because that thought is also why I'm not where I want to be. And I'm not even...
I mean, this woman is crazy. I have to pause this here. I mean, we're like 2 seconds into this video and she's just yelling she's losing her marbles. I mean, of course she's single at 30. I'm getting a headache listening to her, guys. I don't know how other dudes are supposed to put up with her. You know, I think I have probably more patience than most dudes. I listen through a lot of this content. As you know, I record videos for you guys and post it to this channel. I don't think a lot of guys want to sit down and listen to this stuff. They simply do not care enough to listen to this nonsense. And it says something, okay? When you have women who, quite honestly, have all of the leverage pretty much out there in modern day dating, and they rock around to these sorts of ages and they still haven't found a dude, you've got to ask yourself the question why that might be the case, you know? Because again, they do have these opportunities. It's not like they don't have these opportunities and they're like some victim of circumstances, despite what they might try and have you believe. They certainly do have options. In fact, they have thousands upon thousands of options. You take a average woman, right? One that hasn't consumed a whole bunch of McDonald's, and you put her on any sort of social media or dating application in a metropolitan city, and she will have more opportunities than she can even fill a day with, to be honest with you. Like, she could go out with dudes every single day and she would never really run out of men, to be honest. Like, the influx of people joining these cities would offset the amount of options that she has, and yet they are still single. Like, let that sink in and compare that to the average dude's experience, by the way. The average dude's experience is completely horrendous compared to that. It's not even close. It's ridiculous. You give a woman thousands of options, and she'll still oftentimes wind up at this age single with no idea why she's single. It's ridiculous, man. Completely ridiculous.
Even that fucking far off. Besides what you're seeing here, and that's not my fault, the dryer was fucked up. The dryer, it took an hour and a half to get me clothes that had to be draped all over my apartment. And guess what? I like the apartment. That's sick, right? My life, not like that astronomically far off and from what I want it to be, but I also might just be saying that to make myself feel better. You know what I mean?
This
but all around
bananas.
happy, other than everything that is not there. But you know what I mean? So if you're feeling like, hey, I feel like I'm too old to be working on this, or I thought that, but then I got somewhere, let me know, because I feel like...
Anyway, back to the article.
Holy hell,
In
what
just
was
the
that?
past few days, I have seen multiple Gen Zs, the vast majority of women, on various platforms, including Reddit and Instagram, express a desire to unalive in their 30s or when they reach 40 because they cannot handle the fact that they will age and become unattractive or become hags. An alarmed whistleblower recently penned to Reddit's PSA thread. When the clock strikes midnight, they become a pumpkin. They're aware their looks are their only value. That's what the feminist society has done to women. For the females that are smart, they're extremely annoying because feminism has brainwashed them that they have to flex their education all the time to get quote-unquote respect. So always try to compete with men and end up being alone because no man of value wants to be with their annoying ass.
Just by the way, on this whole education thing, like, I'm not saying that women shouldn't go out there and get educated, but what I am saying is dudes don't care about this. Right? When dudes are looking for a relationship, it's not like men look at a woman and they go, oh, wow, she has a degree in such and such. That's really what I'm looking for. Men don't look for this stuff. You know, that's not to say that, you know, not congratulations to you. Maybe you've got a degree in something worthwhile. I mean, a lot of these degrees these days are completely useless, but I don't know, she might have an engineering degree or something. I don't know. Not that many women attend engineering classes, but you get my point here, guys. Men don't care about your degree. They really do not. It might be great for your career. It might have been a great life decision, but men are not interested in your degrees because by extension, they're also not really interested in your careers. Dudes don't look at a woman and go, oh, wow, she's a lawyer. That makes her a fantastic option for me. Men are not looking at your bank account. We're not looking about, at how much money you earn. And women think we are, right? And the reason why they think we are, by the way, is because that's what they do, especially when they reach older ages and they're looking to settle down and have a man provide for them. They're obviously looking at his bank account and what he can do for her, right? And so they think that men do the same thing. We don't. Men understand, by the way, that nobody's really going to provide for them on a long-term basis. It's not like women are going to open up their wallets. I mean, women these days, guys, the average woman these days will barely even open up her wallet for a date, right? Let that sink in. As if these girls are going to provide for you for actually any length of time, specifically the ones who are using you as a retirement plan as well. Men don't care about this stuff. We understand it doesn't benefit us anyway, but women seem to think it matters. It doesn't matter.
I've predicted this a while back. There will be a massive self-deletion of IG thoughts, OF performers, and live streaming thoughts, because every year there's a new crop of younger, hotter females who want to become rich by being an X-rated performer. So, at the very least, the market will get saturated, and these thoughts' life on easy mode free trial will eventually end.
I mean, I think a lot of girls are experiencing this already, right? Is because they go out here and they try and secure a boyfriend, but, particularly the guys that they really want, the men that they really want typically have a lot of options. So you have a whole bunch of women going out here hooking up with random dudes, and then they're wondering why the men don't commit to them. It's like, well, why should the man commit to you? He can go to Sandy down the road or, someone else. And so girls have essentially priced themselves out a little bit here, especially with this spicy content nonsense, right? You want to start charging dudes saying, oh, you have to take me out to dinner, you have to buy me all this crap, and he can find photos of you online for $4.95 a month. I mean, you are going to have a hard time convincing men to, buy things for you or to take care of you and provide for you if you have spicy photos of yourself that can literally be purchased for less than the price of a coffee. Make that make sense to me, man. And these women want to be wives. They want to be girlfriends and things like this. You know what's funny? The women who don't do this stuff, they're laughing at these women, by the way. Like they are laughing. They are, because they're not putting themselves in this particular situation. It just makes them look a hell of a lot better compared to the modern women who do this nonsense.
Thus, they can't handle the real world. And this is the same thing for every other female dating. The younger women will be less jaded, more pleasant, and more pure. So a better option to be around. This is why Leonardo DiCaprio dumps his girlfriends once they turn 25, because there will always be thousands of 18-year-olds willing to take the top spot.
Can I ask what you guys think about a 48-year-old dating a 19-year-old? Because I'm kind of torn. Usually I have the mindset of, oh, if you're an adult, like, you can choose to live your life how you see fit as long as you're not harming anybody else. And these girls that date Leo, like, they know what's going on. They know that the time is limited, or at least I hope they do. But at the same time, their age difference is the same between me and my dad. I also believe that there's like levels to being an adult. So I'm 23. That's like 5 years old in the adult world. If you're 19, you are 1. If you choose to believe my logic on this, that would make Leo 30. This is him at 29 or 11 in the adult world, the same year that his new girlfriend was born. This is
I love how we have to switch the numbers around, by the way. Like, I'm really confused about this, okay? Because you have women like this who say, well, women should be able to make their own decisions. They're strong and independent. She's an adult, all of these sorts of things. But when those women make a decision that they don't like, then it becomes an issue, and apparently women can't make decisions for themselves. I'm really confused about this, guys, because again, the people that say they're all for women's liberation and allowing them to make their own decisions and giving them all of the, the benefits of being an adult, so to speak, these are the same individuals, by the way, who will be the first to tell women that they can't do particular things. You can't date this guy because the age gap is too big. You can't date this guy because Sarah over here used to date him, or I want to date him, or all of this kind of stuff, right? They are the first ones to go, women actually apparently can't make their own decisions. So which is it, right? I'm confused. Are women an adult when they're 18, or are they incapable of making their own decisions? Because these people can't seem to make up their mind. Now, me personally, I think if she's 18, she's able to make she can go be with whatever dude she wants to be with. Would I recommend some decisions? Maybe not. Maybe don't get with a felon, for example. Am I in the right to tell a woman to not hook up with a felon, or whatever the case may be, whatever decision she's trying to make? No, she's an adult. She can make her own decisions. She can deal with those consequences. But again, you have these people who are trying to tell women that, hey, it doesn't matter if you're an adult. You can't make this decision. And they like to switch around numbers and stuff like this to try and make it seem a lot creepier. Hilarious, by the way. Absolutely hilarious.
This is what he would look like if they were somehow the same age right now. This is like what's eating Gilbert grapes, Leo. Look at his baby face. And it's not about looks. I'm trying to say that these are like very different kinds of adults. Why won't age-appropriate women date him?
Yep, these same...
Okay, I'm going to answer this individual's question, by the way. Nice haircut, by the way, bro. So this woman is saying, why is it that women this dude's age won't date him? My answer to that question is they absolutely will. He just doesn't choose them. You think this dude does not have options of women in this age bracket? Oh, trust me, he absolutely does. It is complete delusion to think that he does not have women who are options in this particular age bracket. The reason why he doesn't go with them is because he doesn't choose them. But this dude cannot really wrap their mind around it.
Same feminists think that these same 18-year-olds that are too young to date 40-year-olds are empowered by starting an OF, which will make them seen as a wet hole. This shows that most of the feminists are jealous that rich and famous men, no matter how bad they look, can get the hottest 18-year-olds, while
Just by the way, before we continue, I find it really insulting that this woman will actually come out here. And number one, I'm surprised more women aren't frustrated by people who hold this point of view, because I actually think if you're a woman and you hear someone talking about like this to you and telling you that you can't make your own decisions even though you're an adult, if I was a woman personally, I would find that very insulting. And I also find it very insulting towards the dudes as well, for obvious reasons, because obviously she's trying to label us as predators and things like this. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely. So not only is this woman, you know, supposed to be for women, supposedly, she treats them like they're not actually adults, and then she also essentially calls the dudes predators in like the same swoop. I mean, that's personally crazy, to be honest. I think that's crazy.
While women are on a time limit when they can have access to the top men. No matter how much money and fame they have, it won't buy men's attention.
So I turned 30 in like 6 weeks, and I've been single my whole life, and I don't really know of any other people who are in the same position. I've got people who are like, oh my god, I've been single for so long, like, you know, it's been like 3 years since my partner broke up with me, and I'm there like, I never had a partner. And I don't really know, like none of my friends, no one in my circle, I haven't really met anybody who actually is in the same position. I know there's people out there, so hopefully this reaches the right people.
Let's just make this clear, by the way, because I see a lot of videos like this where you'll have a woman say, I've never had a boyfriend, or I've never had, I've never had a boyfriend, and she'll be like 35, or she'll be like 32, or something like this. Which, you know what, I believe them. Maybe sometimes they haven't had boyfriends, but you know what? I guarantee you these women are not celibate. These women ranting on TikTok, making these sorts of videos, saying that they've never had a boyfriend, it's not as if they've been celibate. And the reason why I bring this up, by the way, is because what they're trying to do is they're also, at the same time, they're trying to sell dudes purity, right? They're trying to say, listen, I haven't been with any other guys. I'm a great option. I've never had a boyfriend. But really, they've probably been with a whole bunch of different dudes. They just don't want to say that particular part. They'd rather word it in the nicer way, which is, hey, I've never had a boyfriend. But again, it's not like they're going to Bible study every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Especially at this particular age. How many dudes you have to turn down to get to this age and still be single is downright astounding.
I mean, technically I did have a boyfriend when I was like 11, but we never broke up, and then we went on summer holiday, so I guess technically you could say that we were actually still together. So I've either never been in a relationship or I've only ever been in one. Jokes. But yeah, I don't know, I think it's a really weird thing because society expects you by certain ages to hit certain milestones, including partner, house, marriage, kids, and I'm like, I have none of those things. And when you're single, and you've always been single, you have to plan your life as a single person. Like when I think about the future, I can't plan my life with a partner in mind because I don't have that right now. And yeah, that's how I feel, at least. I plan my life as a single person. What are the things I want to do? I want to travel, I want to run my business. And if someone comes along and I fall madly in love and we have the best life together ever, amazing. But I think when you've never had a partner, you can't imagine what it's like to actually be in a relationship, to actually like have your person. So
you see how things start to click, by the way? So she's a woman who's rambling on TikTok, right? She is apparently a business owner. I'm always really skeptical when these women say that, like, they're business owners and things like this, because usually it just means they have a couple of hundred followers and it's not like they can live off of their business. Usually it's something very, very small. They're selling like eyelashes or something like this. And you know, shout out to the women who are hustling, but oftentimes it's not actually their job. It's not actually their business. They're working at some coffee shop or something as well. You know, it's like they try and brush it off like they're some sort of like CEO or something, and they're a hustler and they're really making it work when the majority of their income comes from somewhere else. So I think it's a little bit deceptive there. But notice how she's she's done a lot of travel and she's a businesswoman apparently. And you start to connect dots like that and you're like, oh, of course you're single. You're one of those travelers. I understand now. Okay.
Yeah. Don't really know what I'm trying to say, but are there anybody else who has this? Is there anybody else in the same position? Let me know.
Back to the article. Some have even expressed not bothering with healthy eating habits, saving money, or planning on having careers because they feel so strongly about this, continued the scandal monger, presumably a member of the Gen Z demographic. Let's be clear, these modern women aren't doing these healthy habits to get quote-unquote healthy. It's to try to fool men into thinking they're younger and less road-worn, meaning not as big of an HOE. That's the whole point of makeup, to look more attractive but also cover up their bad lifestyle choices, which causes their skin to be unhealthy looking or have breakouts.
My biggest life regrets are not doing these things in my 20s and waiting till my 30s, and the damage is already done once you're in your 30s. So, yeah, you tell him, sister. So, I'm a mom.
What's the bet she's a single mother? Now, I don't know, I'm just hazarding a guess there, guys, but, you know, for some reason, my alarm bells start ringing when you have a woman who's like making rant TikTok videos and you hear a child in the background, usually what it means is single mother. I would be happy to be proven wrong, but usually that's the case. Let's see if she actually makes any like actually good points.
These things now, like, please, for me, if for no one else. The first one is sleeping on your back. The weight of your human head actually compresses your bones, your muscle, your collagen, and whatever side that you sleep on. If you sleep on a side, and you probably do sleep on one side, that side is going to get droopy and sad.
Okay, so we're going to beauty advice. We're not actually going to, you know, life decisions. We're going to beauty advice. Now, I get, you know, there's something to be said about trying to, you know, trying to combat aging, I suppose, you know, taking care of your skincare and things like this. I think those are not necessarily bad things. You know, guys, I'm sponsored by T. Hanley over on this channel. I think it's a good idea for people to take care of their skin, their health and things like this. But notice again how it's got nothing to do with like decisions regarding relationships or regarding family or things like this. It's just straight to me, straight to her as an individual. That's the thing that I always find rather disturbing about these videos, is whenever they pretend to have some sort of like introspection, it's always something that comes from a place of me, and never considering anybody else at least a little bit in the picture. Right? It's never like, it's just full selfishness usually. It's never like half where, hey, maybe if I did this better, then I could have got this particular result, you know, like maybe I could have been a better wife or a better girlfriend or so on and so forth. No. It's straight to the superficial things.
And that's this side of my face, like everything is lower. Number 2 is putting sunscreen on your chest. My chest has so much more sun damage than my face, and I would let it just get fried out in the sun. So there's like pigmentation, broken capillaries, like redness, and just looks old. Lastly,
guys, am I getting too old? Because when I see videos like this, I feel really weird, right? Like, imagine being in this kid's shoes. You grow up and you think it's normal for your mother to sit there in front of like her phone camera, rant while you're in the background about these sorts of things over on TikTok. I think it's really weird that women are making these videos and they've got their kid like, you know, screaming and making noises in the background and things like this. Is this just what women do nowadays, guys? Like, what is this?
chemical exfoliant masks once to twice a week. I had so much acne, I had so much acne scarring, I just have pigmentation that's still left over from all of that, and I feel like it would have been so much better if I did chemical exfoliants, like duh.
I swear, by the way, when these women have to go through all of these processes, it's usually because they've damaged their skin so much from putting makeup on it every single damn day. Now, I'm not a skincare expert or anything like that, but I would assume you wouldn't have these issues so much if you weren't putting toxic chemicals on your face every second of every day.
As you saw that post-wall thought in the video, despite her health skincare, she looked like a post-wall trying to look young again. I would not be surprised if she got Botox. She has that, fake look. Women need to have healthy habits from the age 18, because otherwise, hitting the wall will be like really hitting the wall. And suddenly, trying to get healthy won't reverse a decade of being a slob. That being said, being nihilistic at a young age makes living pointless. If you're a post-wall Karen, be as nihilistic as possible because we need less of you making life hell for everyone else. For you young females who actually worry about turning 30, all you have to do is learn to clean, cook, and keep your legs closed, and you might be able to find a man that you're attracted to and live a good life. That's it. No need to go to college or learn corporate skills or work 2 to 3 jobs to rent a room in a big city.
By 30-something-year-old women who don't have kids yet, but you want kids, but you feel like you're running out of time to have them.
What do you mean feel like you're running out of time? You absolutely are. I find it crazy that women will get to like their mid-30s and they'll think to themselves, well, now's the time to have a kid. Like, as far as I understand it, again, 35 is considered a geriatric pregnancy. You really run the risk of having a lot of different complications. Now, I'm not saying that women have to have kids. I don't particularly care what they decide. If women who make these TikTok videos never want to have kids in their life, that's not my problem, to be honest with you. Go out there and make whatever decisions that you want. But it's funny to me how women hit the panic mode when they hit 35. Like, they don't actually think about these things sooner. It's kind of like trying to hand in your homework very late. I've made this point quite a few times on the channel, but it's like it's essentially being given an assignment for like over a decade, and you still manage to hand it in late. I think it's kind of crazy, to be honest. Now, granted, it's a difficult assignment, quite a time-consuming one, you know, but again, it's like you're 35, you're 36, and now you want to have kids. I mean, at that point, you're doing a disservice to the child. It might grow up with a lot of different issues. There's a lot higher likelihood of complications and things like this. Not to mention, you actually get less overall time with the child as well, because you're not going to live forever. So it's just crazy, man. The decision making is interesting to me.
Are you? Because same. And I just feel, I'm 32. And I just feel like I'm in this place in my life right now where I'm a little selfish. I just moved out and bought my house in December with my boyfriend, and I just...
Oh, sounds to me like it might be a bit of an issue here. Notice how she's referring like to the house as her house, by the way, and yet she has a boyfriend and they bought it together. I think if you're the boyfriend, the alarm bells should be ringing a little bit. I don't like the idea of purchasing a house and having both your guys' names on the purchase or the mortgage or whatever, man, because we all know how that goes for dudes. You're together for too long, you get married, whatever the case may be, and then, you know, she goes to the court and she tries to file it as her asset as well, and then all of a sudden you lose a lot of equity, or you lose the whole damn house, even though maybe she didn't contribute equally at all. I think it's really, really dangerous for dudes to get themselves into these sorts of situations. I wouldn't put her name on it at all, especially if the dude's the one doing the down payment. I think it's ridiculous.
I just feel like I want kids eventually. Like, I definitely want children, but I don't want them right now. But then I'm like, am I getting too old? Like, do I need to get a move on?
Yes.
I'm not married yet. I would like to be married before I have my kids.
What are you talking about? You're 32. And you're sitting here going, I want to have kids eventually. I want to get married eventually. And I want to get married before I have the kids. Like, what are you even asking? Of course you should get a move on. This is crazy to me, man. Absolutely crazy. But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys subscribe if you are new here. You made it to the end of the video, excuse me. And as always, guys, make sure to take care of yourselves. And I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.